Hey everyone, and welcome back, 8th graders. Ready to dive into today's explainer? Today, we're basically stepping into the role of boundary builders. We're going to explore the world of mathematical inequalities and, believe it or not, discover how the exact same rules that govern our math problems can actually bring a surprising amount of clarity to our everyday lives.
Look, right off the bat, we've got a really interesting connection to make. 2 Corinthians 13:5 tells us to examine yourselves, test yourselves. Just like our faith calls us to constantly examine ourselves so we can grow stronger, the exact same thing is true in our learning. When we actively examine our math processes, we naturally lower our test anxiety and build incredible confidence. Testing yourself isn't about proving what you don't know, it's about confirming what you do know and finding out exactly where you have room to grow.
Okay, so here's our quick roadmap for today. First, we'll talk about the power of mistakes. Second, 3 common inequality traps. Third, proving your math thinking. And finally, how boundaries actually bring true peace. Let's get to it.
Part 1. The power of mistakes and how we are completely redefining how we learn.
We really need to get this straight right now. A mistake is not a failure. Actually, scratch that. It is literally the exact moment your brain starts actually learning. A mistake equals insight and wisdom. Think about it. When you stop to figure out exactly where you made a wrong turn, you're diagnosing an error. And diagnosing a trap today, well, that prevents it from catching you on tomorrow's test. You are gaining wisdom, you're getting stronger. So seriously, celebrate the mistakes you make in practice, because they are your absolute best stepping stones to mastery.
Moving right along to Part 2. 3 common inequality traps. We are going to catch them before they catch you. So think of these as those sneaky little math monsters just waiting to trip you up on an exam. We're going to defeat them right now. Here they are. Trap 1, forgetting to flip the sign when dividing by a negative. Trap 2, graphing with the wrong circle. And Trap 3, treating inequalities exactly like equations. Just keep this mental roadmap in the back of your head as we break every single one of them down.
All right, trap number 1, dividing by a negative. This is a huge one. When solving an inequality, if you multiply or divide by a negative number, you absolutely cannot just let the sign stay the same. No way. You have to flip the direction. If it was greater than, it suddenly becomes less than. See, multiplying or dividing by a negative sends you to the complete opposite side of the number line, so you have to mirror your mathematical boundary. Just flip the sign. It's going to save you so much frustration.
Trap number 2 is choosing the wrong circle. Okay, so we use an open circle for strictly greater than or less than. It's kind of like a broken fence you can walk up to, but you can't actually touch. But we use a solid closed circle for greater than or equal to and less than or equal to. Want a great trick to remember this? The or equal to line underneath the symbol requires extra ink to draw, right? So use extra ink to fill in that solid circle on your graph. A closed circle means it's an inclusive boundary. You get to stand right on that exact number.
And that brings us to trap 3, which usually sneaks up on you in word problems. See, regular equations are all about finding that one single exact answer, like x equals 5. Boom, done. But inequalities, they are a whole different ballgame. They're about finding a whole range of possibilities. Like if a word problem says you have a $50 budget, your answer isn't exactly $50. Your answer is everything up to and including $50. You're establishing a healthy, realistic limit, not a single point. So keep your mind open to a range of solutions.
Okay, Part 3, prove your math thinking. Welcome to the justification challenge.
Look, any calculator can just spit out a number, right? But true scholars, they justify their process. You've got 5 homework choices for today, ranging from dividing by negatives in option 1 to compound inequalities in options 3 and 4, all the way to a real-world word problem in option 5 about a ride allowing no more than 6 people. Just take a quick look at these options. I want you to pick just one of these to solve.
So here's the deal. Just choose one. Solve it. But here is the absolutely crucial part. You have to justify your process. Write out exactly why you did what you did. Did you flip a sign? Okay, why? Did you draw a closed circle? Tell me why. Communicating the why behind the math matters just as much as getting the right answer at the end. When you can justify your steps, you prove that you don't just know what to do, you actually know why you're doing it, and that, for sure, is true mastery. And finally, Part 4, boundaries bring true peace. Let's talk about the morality of limits.
It's wild, but mathematical boundaries and life boundaries actually operate on the exact same principles. In math, those inequalities remind us that limits can be incredibly good and useful things. They guide our decision-making to a correct, safe range of answers. Well, in the exact same way, godly boundaries exist to protect us and help us show wisdom in our lives. When we respect limits and operate within them, whether we're graphing a line on a piece of paper or choosing how we treat our friends and family, we avoid negative consequences and we show real maturity.
And that brings us to a really core philosophy from the heroesmartacademy Godly Learners series. True education is the combination of education and biblical morality. Why? Well, because being smart without a moral compass is just a recipe for painful mistakes. Think about it. What is the point of being highly smart, brilliantly educated, and incredibly good at math if we just keep making bad moral choices that hurt ourselves or the people around us? True education gives us both a sharp mind and a really strong moral compass.
And the best part is, there's this amazing promise attached to living this way. Romans 8:6-7 promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps their mind spiritual. When we really engage with these concepts, when we operate within these healthy physical and spiritual boundaries, it brings a profound, lasting peace. You really don't have to live in chaos when you know where the healthy limits are.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this to chew on. How will you apply healthy boundaries to your own life and mindset this week? Whether it's catching those tricky math traps before they catch you, or honoring the healthy limits in your relationships and your faith, just remember that being a boundary builder makes you wiser, safer, and a whole lot stronger. Think about that as you tackle your justification homework. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.